So recently I seen something that I had never really heard before, and that Tupac would actually want to know where Dr. Dre lived after he left.
Yeah. He would ask that, like, where that is? And he's like, I know that Suge ain't got no problems with him. Suge still like that because he won't tell me where he live. He would make statements like that. Well, Suge didn't want no drama. He didn't really want no negative drama between Pac and, or Pac getting in trouble or whatever. But yeah, Pac would say stuff like that, but Pac really probably didn't want to know where Dre lived. He was just probably just talking. But he made statements like that, yeah.
How bad was it when Dre left?
Bad. He left half a company. Everybody was happy then. You didn't realize the effect until later. Losing a great producer or a finisher, and like that. Scottie Pippen and then when Michael Jordan left, Scottie thought he could be able to carry it until he was sitting on the bench, and the coach decided to go to the coop coach or whatever his name was, at the end of the game. But so he was happy, but Suge didn't want that to happen, but it had to go down because of everything that was being done and said.
Do you think it changed the environment at Death Row? Because, just from
Dre was never really around.
A fan's point of view, it didn't really seem. It seemed like business as usual at Death Row.
It didn't to us because Dre was at home in his nice home, in his nice studio, and he would get everything shipped over to him, and he would put his tweaks, go down there and work with Big Bass Brian at Bernie Grubman's and do the mastering and then say, here's the finished product. I put my stamp on it now. That's how Dre operated. Dre wasn't sitting in Can-Am. Y'all very rarely see Dre at Can-Am Studios sitting around studio sessions. Y'all very rarely hear any of the artists talking about they were sitting in the studio working with Dr. Dre. He wasn't that type. He was on house arrest a lot of the time, and most of the time, but Dre was the finisher. Slow, but the finisher. And he did most of it at home with his team.
Did people kind of salty about him always working from home and not
Pac was.
really being around?
Pac was. Pac took offense to it. Snoop probably didn't care. He probably was used to it and already knew how Dre was. So and then plus by that time, Snoop was, fighting his murder case and all of that, and he started working with DJ Pooh. And when let Pooh go mess up his career with Dogfather. And then Daz and them, they tell you their story of how he had to finish up their album on, the Dog Pound album.
So they finished that without Dre?
No, he did, but it took a while.
Oh, okay.
But Dre
yeah, that was one of the things that used to frustrate me, man. It was we'd get like one Death Row album a year. I'd be like, oh,
look at Dre
God,
now.
Man.
He's giving y'all one every 22 years. I hear him and Snoop working back together now, but shit, that's what? When The Wash came out or Chronic 2001 came out, 1999?
Yeah.
So that's Dre.
Yeah, I know, man.
But he ain't got to. The nigga billionaire, but still.
Yeah.
But that's Dre.
It feels like there could have been so much more
Dre could have
put out under Death Row during those times. Just my opinion, though.
Yeah. Well, it all depends on who you ask. Some say Death Row just became Aftermath.
Okay. I mean, I could kind of see that. A little different, but, Dre's still stamp and, you know what I mean? Yeah. I see what you're saying. And recently I was kind of mad at you.
Who?
I think I told you.
Who was?
I was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I was mad at you. And that's because I found out just probably a month or two ago when you put the video out that you had a J.Lo sex tape that you were holding out on me, you know what I'm saying? And you didn't really tell me about that you had this thing, man.
Oh, man. They had us shook after that meeting I had with the attorneys and J.Lo team.
Oh, so they actually brought you in and had a meeting with you?
Me, David Kenner, went down there and met with their staff and their team. They threatened to take everything that any of us owned and suing us and having us in court and all that. You know, it was funny to be a Suge, to be honest, because we didn't care back then. But what I took from it was a tape. But what they thought we had, we didn't have. But it's a tape out there. Because she spent some money on putting that team together and was trying to save her image. And that was probably because of Benny Medina, who was our manager at the time. That's the one that helped. Y'all see his name with Will Smith and Puffy at the time. I don't know if Benny and Puffy still together, but big old homosexual. But power in the game, major game. But Benny Medina. If y'all ever look at the Will Smith Fresh Prince shows, y'all see his name and Quincy Jones' name as executive producers on that show, along with Will. Yeah.
So at one point you guys were shopping this sex tape?
Oh, we're going to put it out.
We're going to put it out.
We were adding to it. I had a girl, J.Lo look-alike, getting, what's that they call when they were putting butt injections and all of that? We shot a whole scene around it.
No way.
But I got it somewhere in there on one of the VHS or somewhere. But like I said, we got
shut it down.
We got a little spooked.
How much were they threatening to sue you guys for?
Oh, shit, who knows?
A
$1
lot.
million would have been enough for me. But they were ready to start some legal action behind J.Lo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I seen at one point Bobby Brown had a hit on him. And I guess Suge kind of saved him, or?
Well, what it was on that was Suge used to work for this boxer promoter. His name is Al Heyman. Well, he's a box promoter now. But back then he used to have what we called the Budweiser Superfest. It was like our parents, my parents, Essence Awards. But they used to go down in San Diego. And Al Heyman was big with the Budweiser Superfest. He's now the big boxer promoter. Do a lot of Mayweather's, fights and stuff like that. And so Bobby Brown came and told Al, I can't go on this tour. I can't do it. And Al Heyman like, why? I think it was the Scream. Whichever the tour name was. I hear the name Scream. I thought the name was Scream, but some people say it's called something else. But the tour that, Al B. Shore was on with Bobby Brown. And Al Heyman like, wow, what's up? Well, I owe these guys some money for drugs. And so Suge was like, him and a guy named Big West, rest in peace, Big West, was like Al Heyman right hand. They was like his boys, his guys. And so Al Heyman, of course, called them and was like, hey, what can y'all do? And Suge went and worked it out. And matter of fact, one of my good friends today, a guy named Big Bob, Big Dog they call him, work a lot of the concerts still to this day. He ended up being Whitney's bodyguard because Bobby put him with him. Suge, a boy from Compton, grew up right around the corner from Suge. Big Bob, Big Dog, he put him on Bobby Brown and got him protection and got that deal worked out with whoever that he owed the money to.
How bad was Bobby Brown back then with the drugs and?
I wasn't. It was before my time. So anything I speak on or say would just be what we done saw on BET, on this documentaries with my boy Kevin Swain, who y'all don't know. Kevin Swain is the one doing all the documentaries with Bobby Brown that did California Love and To Live and Die in LA video. I'm telling y'all just don't know how many people that Suge gave their first breaks to that's still out there making money. Gave a lot of people, but Kevin Swain, y'all look him up. But yeah,